As he replayed the encounter with the detective in his mind, he remembered the first moment he saw the badge and the flash of panic that ripped through him. He'd been sure that his time had come, that he'd been discovered. His heart had pounded in his chest like a wild thing. His mouth had gone dry, and H had to fight the urge to bolt. But the detective hadn't arrested him. There were no cuffs, no stern-faced officers reading him his rights. Instead, there were questions, seemingly innocent, inquiries about the type of customers who frequented the store. The detective didn't know. He couldn't know. The man in the Ballcap was careful, meticulous. He left no traces, no loose ends. The books were his passion, but they were also his shield, his alibi. No one would suspect a humble bookseller, a lover of ancient texts. He allowed himself a small sigh of relief. He was safe for now, but he knew he needed to tread carefully. The police were sniffing around, and even though they didn't suspect him yet, he couldn't afford any mistakes. The stakes were simply too high. He ran a hand through his hair, nerves tingling as he contemplated his next move. There was no denying the danger of the situation. Detective Sergio's visit had been unexpected, and it threatened to disrupt the delicate balance H so carefully maintained. His eyes scanned the well-worn ledger that recorded every purchase. Made from this hidden corner of the bookstore, prominent names adorned the pages, etched in ink, forever linked with the darker corners of knowledge. They were politicians, business magnates, men and women of influence who believed that the ancient texts housed here could offer them power, guidance, or simply a hidden edge in their pursuits. The detective wanted a list of customers who had purchased the kind of books found at the crime scene. But handing over the complete list would set off a political bombshell. The fallout would be catastrophic, and he wasn't sure he could shield himself from the consequences. Moreover, he didn't know whether such exposure would be beneficial for him or detrimental to his plans. He had to tread lightly, carefully navigate the minefield that this situation had become. His plan was simple. He would give the detective a list, but not the complete list. He would omit the names of those who could make his life difficult, who wielded enough POW to crush him, and would do it without a second thought. H'd include only the names of those he deemed inconsequential, who lacked the influence to retaliate. It was a gamble, but one he hoped would buy him enough time to figure out his next move. With a weary sigh, the man in the Ballcap moved to his ancient wooden desk, nestled between two towering bookshelves. Pulling open the top drawer, he retrieved an ink pen and a fresh sheet of parchment. The detective's request reverberated in his mind. The names of customers, their dates of visit, but no specific details about their purchases. An unusual request, but one he could fulfill. His hand moved swiftly, the pen scratching against the parchment, the names and dates quickly taking form on the sheet before him. Some customers were frequent visitors, their names appearing multiple times over the past 6 months. Others were less predictable, only 1 or 2 entries marking their rare presence. Once he had compiled a list of 30 names, he studied it carefully, ensuring he hadn't included anyone too influential. His eyes traced over the names, each one a person who had stepped into his world, seeking the arcane knowledge nestled within the dusty covers of the ancient texts. Finally satisfied, he set his pen down, looking at the sheet of paper in front of him. This list held secrets that Detective Sergio was keen to unearth. The question was, would it lead the detective closer to the truth or further away? As he left the sanctuary of the hidden room, locking it behind him, the man in the Ballcap felt a mix of trepidation and relief. He had bought himself some time. Now it was a matter of waiting to see what the detective would do next. With the list in hand, he descended the stairs to the main part of the bookstore, ready to face Detective Sergio once again.